what is going on in Jacksonville, best you can tell?
Well, I think this is probably a lot more to do about money than it is about how long Urban's going to continue coaching the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think you could see by the press release that there's some discontent with his behavior. I think the bigger issue, frankly, is his credibility and his trust with his players. I mean, when I've been in the league 35 years, I've been on all sorts of airplanes flying home after tough losses. I've never been on a plane where the head coach wasn't on it. I've never been on one. I mean, whether you had a bye week, whether it was the end of the season, whether it was something else. I mean, everybody flies. You go down as a team. You act as a team. I think that was the first step. What happened over the weekend is between him and his wife. He has to work through those issues. But to me, I think the lack of trust, when you tell your team we're all in this together, and then you decide to take a 3-day vacation to stay back in Cincinnati, we're really not all in this together. And I think that started the sparks. And there's some discontent going on within the building. And these meetings that have been happening the last 2 days are more about how is this going to end than how is this going to get repaired.
I mean, you can ask the two guys here, Brockman and Del Tufo, you were on that text exchange as well, TJ Jefferson. We were all, my guys here, as soon as this was trending, we started texting each other and sending each other's videos like, can you believe this? Can you believe that? You guys can confirm. The first thing I said to you is like, does that mean he wasn't on the team plane going home? Did an 0-4 head coach not get on the team plane to go home? Do we know that for sure? Like, did he not go home with the guys and then fly?
He did not go home on the team plane. That's a fact. And you got to really wonder, and I don't blame this on Trent Baalke, his general manager, but if I would have been the general manager of the team, I would have said, Urban, look, we're not at Ohio State. Like, the head coach flies home on every plane. Like, we don't have a recruiting plane. And it sends a horrible message to the team if you're not on the plane. Because what's going to happen next week when we play somewhere else and half the players want to stay in Atlanta? And, they're not coming back with us because you just did it. Like, this is a horrible precedent. Mm-hmm. Usually every team has a rule. Whoever goes on the trip comes back on the trip. Now, if there's something going on in the town and there's certain exceptions, I get that. We all get that, a family member, all those things. But that to me was, he wasn't on the plane. And I would have said to him, Urban, look, you're making a lot of money. Fly back with us. Spend the night in Jacksonville. Get a private plane and fly you back to Cincinnati. What's it going to cost you? You lost your credibility. That's priceless.
I'm kind of speechless. I got to be honest with you, Mike. Are you? I shouldn't say sure, but I mean you've been there, done that. I mean the language you see out of the press release. I said before. There's two ways to look at it: glass half full of an owner saying, you know what, man, like I went and I got the guy. Like I went ahead and got the guy, the number one college coach, one of the most winningest college coaches outside of Nick Saban, obviously, who's never going to come back to the NFL. But I got the guy. And not only did I get the guy, I'm hooking him up with one of the most generationally talented quarterbacks that's ever come out of college. I got this. And this is like a glass half full. Like, let's see if we can put Humpty Dumpty back together again. And the other way I looked at it was like, the other glass is half full of lawyers. And, so you're saying like you read this press release as to mean like we're working on terms of firing to make sure that to tell him like you've already violated the morals clause. You're lucky you're not gone now. Like you really think that they've reached that point in Jacksonville through this one video?
I mean, I think it's been brewing. I think it hasn't been an easy ride. Starting with, remember the strength coach that he hired that they had to let go? I mean, this hasn't been a smooth tenure down in Jacksonville. The whole signing of Tim Tebow, the most ridiculous signing in all of sports to convert him to a tight end at 32. I mean, that just shows you that what were we going to do with Tim Tebow? He's 32 years old. He's going to be, if he's the best he could be is the third string tight end, that means he's got to play in the kicking game. That means he's got to be a great special teams player. We're going to pay him $1 million for that. Like, why would we do that? Those jobs are for the rookies. They made no sense. Everything he's done has made no sense. And I think that more than what I see as an outsider looking in, the people in the building see it. And the people in the building that have gone to the meetings that listen to him, that there's no trust in what he's doing. I mean, it's, look, Coaching in college and coaching in the pros are two entirely different things. Two entirely different things. You got to be a strategist in the pro football. There's no easy game on the schedule. You can play the Houston Texans tomorrow, and he was favored in that game and got whooped. So I just think this is probably wrong place, wrong time for his career.
So what would you, if you had the ability, either through this show or to get to connect with Shad Khan, what would you counsel him in your years of being in the professional ranks, Michael Lombardi?
I would say this. I would say the most important thing is understanding when you get it right and when you get it wrong. And you can't fall into the sunk cost fallacy. That, like, we're better off moving away from this now early than we are staying on with it and hurting our team. And I think he's going to have to make that decision because the players, this isn't about me. The players, do they believe the coach? Can he win the players' trust back? Michael Silver has a report out today that the players are laughing at it. And if that's true, and I don't doubt Michael Silver, if that's true, then this problem is just going to intensify. And it's going to come down to. So for me, this is more about money than it is about is he going to continue to coach. You know, let's play this out. Say he continues to coach for the next 3, 4, 5 weeks, and he keeps losing. How do you think this is going to get better?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw the tweet from Chris Long, who I love and have nothing but the utmost of respect for, and comes from an incredible NFL family lineage, obviously. His tweet was, if I'm a veteran player in Jacksonville, I'm now my own boss. That's what he tweeted.
Right.
What do you think he means by that? What do you think he means? What do you think that means? Put it in terms of.
Well, it means that that he can do. The rules don't apply to anybody. When he didn't fly back on that plane, he was telling everybody. There's 4 areas of leadership, right? There's the management of attention means you have a plan. There's management of meeting means you can explain your plan. There's management of self, which means you govern yourself as the leader. And the most important is called management of trust. The players trust you. You could be a jerk as a coach. You could be a jerk. But if you're a consistent jerk, they'll listen to you. That's been proven over time. Consistency is the most important quality a coach has to have. And when you lose the trust of the team, management of trust, you've lost the team.
Crystal ball it for me. I know that's one of the cliches, Michael Lombardi, in the NFL is I don't have a crystal ball. What crystal ball, what happens in Jacksonville for me? What do you think?
I think either if he makes it through the year, he won't be there next year, and I would be more than surprised if he does make it through the year.
Well,
I think they'll be looking for an offensive coach to coach the generational talent that you mentioned.
Okay,
at the end of the year.
But wouldn't Urban, knowing that there's an off ramp and knowing what a disaster this would mean for his reputation, legacy, anything like that, that that the USC off ramp would be something he'd want to get on lickety split, don't you think?
If SC wants him, if SC wants him, I think that's got to be, I think that becomes more in play. But we all think SC wants him. Do we know SC wants him for sure? I don't know that.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.